there, good evening. It's 6:30 p.m. Welcome to News Tonight here on GHOne Television. We are streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X at GHOne TV. Now, coming up in the next hour. Minority in Parliament demands independence probe into expired rice saga as they dare government officials to publicly consume the said rice.
Why is the Minister of Education compelling high schools to receive repackaged food items without expiry? This trend is so dangerous.
Also in the bulletin this evening, founder and flag bearer for Movement for Change, Alan Kodjo slams former President John Ajakunkufo over his recent endorsement of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
President Kofo say, no, Bawumia no nim da ben Kofa ni free when him Bawumia it was ben na Bawumia ya it was say he's the best person for you. I'm challenging President Kofo.
Ghana Health Service targets 7.2 million children in second round of polio immunization. This evening, MMDA's private sector urged to submit data in their possession for harmonization. And elsewhere, Senegal ruling party on track to win a majority in legislative elections. Well, I've got the details of these stories and more, so stay with me for the next hour. Grateful for your company this evening. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. The details now, and the minority in Parliament is demanding an independence probe into the circumstances surrounding the feeding of free senior high school students with alleged expired rice. Now, government, through the PRO for the Education Ministry, Kwesi Kwarteng, has explained the FDA granted approval for the expired rice to be rebagged with new expiry dates after MP for North Tongue Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa blew the whistle on the development. Now, addressing the media in Parliament, Mr. Ablakwa charged President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Bawumia to take immediate action given the health implications for students. The former Deputy Education Minister further charged the FDA to speak to the matter immediately, adding government officials should publicly consume the food if they believe it's wholesome.
Did the FDA not destroy the contaminated Moshosho rice, as its internal memo of December 29, 2023 had initially recommended? Why is the Minister of Education compelling high schools to receive repackaged food items without expiry date? This trend is so dangerous. When did it start? And how safe are our children? If headmasters are being compelled, in violation of LI 1541, to receive food items without expiry dates, God save us. And headmasters and chats are also tolerating this. They are not standing up and speaking up in defense of our children. The culture of silence has cowed everybody. People are afraid to lose their jobs. Why is that? Why should that be accepted? Is this Ghana the country of the brave who stood up to colonizers? Why are heads allowing this? Why has the Ministry of Education failed to comply with recommendations from PIAC and the Auditor General on improving health and safety protocols of food distribution to our senior high schools? Why has the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration not sanctioned any official involved in this grave matter? Who are the shadowy government actors who ensure the release of officials of lament after their arrest? And who are the unpatriotic and dangerous government officials who put pressure on the FDA to change their position on this matter? How did laments move from a culpable and fined company to a darling company of the Akufo-Addo government within days? Why have the directors of Laments escaped prosecution all these years?
Well, let's get some answers to questions that Samuel Kudeta Blakwa is raising, as well as get to understand exactly if the situation is that dark. Kwesi Kwarteng is Public Relations Officer for the Education Ministry. He's joined us via phone. Kwesi, thank you so much for joining us. So this issue has lingered since last weekend, I believe. Really, what was the issue with the said rise? Because Kudeta Blakwa says he has reason to believe that the product is expired, yet it's being served to students in the various senior high schools.
I mean, Mr. Baswa has the right to profess anything and even believe in anything. But bottom line is not everything he believes is right. So the fact that he believes that the food is not wholesome does not necessarily mean that indeed he is right in his belief. There is a more reason why there are agencies and institutions that are responsible for making such determination. And for that matter, the FDA that has made a determination with regards to the wholesomeness and safety of the food. And the FDA had made that determination that the food was safe, the food was wholesome, and before we were transported. And so for us, that is our priority, and that is our concern. That makes us satisfied and excited that even granted without even admitting it, that even if something untoward happened at our blind side, at least the outcome is that product that goes to the students wasted, and it doesn't really raise cause for our alarm. And I'm quite surprised that what
happened on your blind side?
Come again?
I'm asking if something indeed happened on your blind side with regards to this particular matter.
Because we do not distribute food to school, the Ministry of Education does not have the mandate to distribute this food to school. It is the reserve of the buffer stock company that engage suppliers. So if at the end of the day, a possibility of, let's say, a compromise, of course, that's why I said that even granted without even admitting it, that this whole transaction was done at our blind side. It has come out that the transaction was not faulty in terms of the health and safety needs or the wholesomeness of that product that were taken to the school. And for us, that is our priority.
But one thing, right? Because you can flow.
I'm listening to you.
Great. Because one thing I want to establish is that yes, there was an admission that indeed the shelf life of the product was extended, and I want to find out, was that extended because there was excess of the product at the buffer stock?
No, it was yes. From the briefing that we have from buffer stock, it had a lot of the product in stock. They had not been able to supply the product because they had imported. About 11,000 tons of the product. So during December, it was near in terms of beds before date. It was the product beds before date was getting very close. They had to apply to FDA to seek FDA if indeed the product before date can be extended. And FDA wrote back to them that they do not have that right away mandate, and then they have to go through second steps before they are able to make a determination on it.
Right.
So they run those tests, and based on the test, FDA extended the shelf life of the product.
But isn't that where the problem really is? Because perhaps if we did not have excess at the buffer stock, there would be no need to apply for the extension of the shelf life of the product, which originally had been stated that was best before December last year.
I don't speak for the company. I don't speak for FDA either. I'm sure. That person obviously will have to be answered by the.
But then you are the body that gets to deal with the children that get to eat these products. So that should also be worrying to you then.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, what is the point? The fundamental question is whether or not the product is wholesome. Yes, you may have to do the process, but the fundamental question is whether or not the product is wholesome. And that for me to be the most important thing. The still wholesome, the FDA certified that it was wholesome. Unless, of course, we are disputing the work of the FDA, that maybe some way, somehow, FDA did not do their work well. And in that regard, FDA will be in the best position to speak to it.
Okay.
But so far as I am concerned, FDA has declared the full wholesome. As far as the Ministry of Education, that is what we should be concerned about.
Okay.
If it was not wholesome, then that should have raised a lot of questions, and I mean also more inquiry and even demand of certain answers from those institutions or authorities.
Very well. Kwesi, thank you. That's private legal practitioner and also the PRO for the Education Ministry, Kwesi Kwarteng, having a conversation with us on the allegations raised by Samuel Kodjo Blakwa, the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, on some products believed to have been expired. Well, as it stands now, we have 19 days to the big day in December. That's December 7, 2024 for the general elections. And of course, EIB, we are your election hub. Well, former President GHOne Kufuor has said that the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is the right person to lead Ghana. Speaking to some selected journalists, Kufuor expressed confidence in Dr. Bawumia's ability to revive Ghana's ailing economy if elected as the next president of Ghana. Kufuor further emphasized that Dr. Bawumia's expertise would be crucial in steering the country's economy towards a more prosperous future. He urged Ghanaians to thus vote massively for Dr. Bawumia in the upcoming polls.
GDA say Ghana for trouble at the manner. San Indiana na ono. Obetimi e de oman akonanim.
Coming casting but energy. Lobby me. My buyer and Southern dear for Shemupa. Name body me. Copy brand tape, the uncle for graphics man, you shall back me. We don't know about my genus power. And it says me, my can't go for the antiacy. With many attorney, my P. Says Sakolano. On your nipa. Ghana. You can't social navy as in Yakona. Addition is Yamishakaho or Babuama Ghana Science Oriental.
Well, reacting to this, founder and flag bearer for the movement for change, Kodjo has criticized former President Kufuor over the recent endorsement of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Now, Kodjo expressed his disapproval, claiming that the former president's endorsement compromises the impartiality expected from a statesman of Kufuor's stature, adding that Kufuor's actions could tarnish his long-standing political legacy.
President Kufuor say, no, Bawumia no nim da be Kufuor ni free wonim Bawumia Edwabena Bawumia ya Edwaka say he's the best person for you. I'm challenging President Kufuor. Say, what Edwaba paying na say I na me say on the Kufuor no ba. Anamebwa. Dear Edwana Bawumia, na Bawumia before. Also wo judge obiti. Ye nipa Mensah me fancy 3 top career ana wo de ato ayiso ensenyani so ti ase dia Edwana Bawumia ye before also ko fan by we so ko read the paper bi wo baby ana so enu na ye gina so e de be ka say nipa the president fast forward wa ba mu my minister under your government. So I say, answer na me babe minister no kra no bono. Onu ankasa nim my worth. So I say, President Kufuor, answer me babe minister. Say na opeso dina supie so kase onim alan worth and woni madwuma maya. So I say, eso no ara me to be ka wo.
You wish you had endorsed because we come the
Onu to be kase owo abemu 70% or even more of the policies in Ifrialan.
Oh, I see.
For kind of baby, on fancy, and let me say, Okoka some my fame for Tatano.
So that's Alan John Kodjo Trematin speaking on Oyo Part Television in the Ashanti region. Well, while all of this is happening, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says if he's given the mandate of the people of Ghana in the December 7 polls, he will ensure that the cost of mobile phones and data are reduced. Now, addressing the Community Connect at Subin in the Ashanti region, Dr. Bawumia said the policy is to help young people take advantage of the digital age and the opportunities it offers. The NPP flag bearer earlier at a stakeholders engagement at the Nsheso constituency stressed his readiness to work hard if given the mandate to propel the nation forward.
Memunuso minimse munye obia per mobile phone maybe for mobile phone prices no abba form no taxes on mobile phone imports. We are bringing down the import duty. We are eliminating the import duty on mobile phones so that mobile phones no buono ebeba form amamo, and also the cost of data. We are going to bring down the cost of data for our youth. Namu itumenya eti make you calls.
Well, still in the Ashanti region, the NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Mchibuisiako, also known as Chairman Wuntumi, says that the party will win 85% of votes in the region. He says the governing NPP has delivered beyond the expectation of the Ghanaian people. Speaking in an exclusive interview with my colleague Sewami here, he noted that the NPP will win the upcoming elections at all costs.
MPP is MPP. MPP is a blood. MPP is a nation. And I can tell you, as a campaign manager and the regional chairman, who have won 2 consecutive elections, we won when we was in opposition 2016. We maintained when we was in power, and we are going to win to stabilize Ghana economy and bring development to the Ghana. Okay, so we are not perturbed about anybody. I'm telling you, we are winning. Our target is 85% in our Ashanti region. We are having, okay.
Well, 85% target in the Ashanti region, but we have 19 days to go. And presidential candidate of the largest opposition, National Democratic Congress, GHOne Mahama, has urged voters to correct past mistakes made in 2016 and 2020 in voting for the NPP. Now, speaking during a mini rally in the Nsawam Adwejuri constituency, where he began his 5-day campaign tour of the Eastern region, the former president emphasized that voting against the NPP will serve as punishment for the economic crisis, which have pushed many into poverty over the last 8 years. GHOne News' Abdul Hanan Adam reports.
Day one of GHOne Mahama's campaign tour of the Eastern region saw the former president visiting 7 constituencies, including Ayensuano, Upper West Akim, Ibuako South, and the Suhum constituencies, amongst others. Addressing a mini rally in Nsawam Adojuru constituency, GHOne Mahama highlighted a litany of unfulfilled promises by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration and urged voters to use the upcoming December 7 elections to right the wrong by voting the NDC back into office.
Choices have consequences. If you make the right choice, it leads to success and a better life. If you make the wrong choice, it leads to hardship and disaster. Unfortunately, in 2016 we made the wrong choice. In 2020 we repeated that choice. But I know that on 7th December 2024 we're going to correct the mistake that we did and bring NDC back into government.
He then criticized the government for its failure to accept responsibility for what he termed as an abysmal performance, which has brought untold hardship to Ghanaians.
One of the first principles in leadership is taking responsibility. Taking responsibility. The negative thing about this Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is that they never accept responsibility. If anything is going wrong, it is somebody's fault. Nti fie nan a ye hya ase a omoba aban mu. Se bibia enko ya ye se Mahama.
However, Mahama, who is vying for a return to the presidency in outlining his vision for the country, reiterated his commitment to establishing a new industrial hub along Amasaman, Sawam and the Suhum stretch, which he believes would unlock new opportunities, especially for the youth.
We're going to balance out the industrialization to come towards the west from Amasaman all the way to Suhum. So government is going to acquire land from the chiefs. We'll develop the land, we'll send electricity there, we'll send water there, we'll do the roads there, so that any person who wants to set up an industry, we'll give them the land to set it up between Amasaman all the way to Suhum, so that our young people in the Sawam and the Dojiri can also get work to do.
So clearly the political parties are ready, but let me talk to you about the Electoral Commission, because Deputy Chairperson of the Commission in charge of corporate services, Dr. Bosman Asari, he has warned that any Electoral Commission official who engages in any illegal activity will face the full rigors of the law. Speaking on GA today, Dr. Bosman Asari said robust measures have been put in place to ensure a free and fair election.
Observers are allowed at the polling station to go and observe the process. And citizens, after they have voted, they can stand somewhere and observe the process. And you, the official of the EC, you dare make any mistake against the law, as I said, we are going to deal with you. And we also expect that the parties are going to train their agents in such a way that they will also observe and monitor the process. So it's the reason why when you get to the polling station, the agents sit at vantage point to see the process, so that if the presiding officer or any of the EC's officers are doing anything untoward, they call them to order. And don't forget that at each polling station, there are security personnel also over there to ensure the integrity of the process. So as far as we are concerned, our officers, and in 2020, we didn't have any problem like that. And we didn't also hear of the parties complaining that their agents were compromised. We think that if you have been selected by your party to be an agent at a polling station, make sure you do your job very well. I think that the embedded features of efficiency, effectiveness are so much that anyone who wants to do something to undermine the process cannot succeed.
Well, the Electoral Commission is also denying rumors of being in bed with the governing NPP. Speaking on GA today, Bosman Asari said those peddling the rumors are being mischievous and do not understand the work of the Commission.
Anyone who understands our processes, if you understand our processes, you realize that anyone who jumps to that conclusion or jumps to that bandwagon is just being very mischievous, or just pretending he or she doesn't understand the process. But when you look at the processes, when we are registering, we do it with the parties. The parties are allowed agents at all the registration centers. When we finish the registration, the data from the registration is shared. We have what we call end of day, start of day report, and end of day report at each registration center. So before we start, the parties know how many people have been registered the day before, and when we end that day, we know the numbers. We give those same details to the parties. Everything we are doing, we do with the political party. So anyone who makes that conclusion or makes that assertion that, oh, the EC is in bed with the government, then clearly the person has just decided not to understand the process.
Well, and that's how we draw the curtains on EIB Election Hub. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.
Late President Rollis' state funeral, Miss Africa Awards, and a number of them.
My experience with the GHOne van has been the state of the art equipment they have. Personal experience is you can use it for both indoor and outdoor, all events, conferencing, like anything you need a van to work for you, GHOne provides it.
My experience with the van has been very good. Why? Because it has a number of facilities that I may not get in other vans. You know, the van has a very wide bench that can accommodate all my technical crew, ICC, switcher, graphics, CG, and all of that. And then it also has a studio, a green room studio that comes with TriCaster. So if you want somebody to do commentary on a live event, you can put that presenter who's in that studio as well and get that running.
To give an experience to our audience who are also watching on TVs and online. Work with an Exo technology system which makes your video mixing with Panasonic cameras, like a lot of other stuff in terms of content you need to get also for your live broadcasts. I
prefer the GHOne van to a lot of other vans I've used, or even doing my own setup on a tabletop setup, because on a production you see a number of people in the van, and so if you have a very small van, it means that it's going to be choked, and that will affect the creativity as well. The price has been discounted as well to accommodate varied budgets, and so no matter the budget you have, I understand you can have the truck and do business with it.
It looks huge but very affordable. Cost is really affordable. My experience with it, EMI Awards last year, super excellent. Try it, call them, and I'm going to give you the best of price. Really affordable.
Well, thank you so much for staying on with us on News Tonight. Let's do some more stories. The Ministry of Health, through the Ghana Health Service, is targeting over 7.2 million children under 5 years in the second round of polio vaccination scheduled to start today. Now, speaking at the launch of the second round of the National Polio Vaccination Campaign, Manager for Expanded Program for Immunization, Dr. GHOne urged the management of private schools to collaborate with health workers in ensuring that all pupils are immunized without any hesitation. He also called on residents of gated communities to join in this vital effort, stressing the importance of collecting action in safeguarding the health of our children.
The launch of the second round of the polio vaccination campaign is to stop the local transmission of polio virus type 2, maintain a high population immunity, strengthen surveillance and polio disease, and prevent further polio outbreaks in the country. The second round of the polio campaign seeks to vaccinate children who were not captured during the first round with a target of 7.2 million.
Taking the cue from round 1, in the second round we are hoping to reach an estimated 7.2 million children 0 to 59 months of age. As we embark on round 2, we are focusing on ensuring that every child under 5 years receives 2 drops of polio vaccine. This is very critical for individual protection and the health of our entire country. High vaccination coverage is our best defense against outbreaks.
Dr. GHOne is the program's manager for the expanded program for immunization at the Ghana Health Service and passionately calls on management of private schools to cooperate with health workers to immunize pupils without any apprehension. He also called on people living in gated communities to do same.
Navigating the gated communities and especially the private schools. You know, the private schools have associations. We engaged with some. Of course, we didn't know that we had several associations. So we engaged with some, but unfortunately some were not engaged, as it were. So going forward, we've tried to engage all of them so that they allow us to vaccinate the children. In fact, we are here because of the children. We need to protect them for public good. You know, children are our future.
The polio vaccine is given at birth or soon after birth, with subsequent doses given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks, and 14 weeks. Polio is a vaccine-preventable disease that causes paralysis and death. Ghana is seeking to vaccinate at least 95% of children under 5 years to eradicate polio in the country.
Now, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Francis Asenso-Boakye, has urged road commuters, particularly those that ply the Ofankor and Sawem stretch, to bear with the government as the contractor is on course to completing the project. He states that road constructions usually are accompanied with a certain amount of inconveniences, hence the need to bear with the situation. He further indicates that the situation gets out of hand most of the times due to some drivers not adhering to diversionary signals and admonishing such drivers to desist from the act as it puts unbearable distress on all. He made the comments when interacting with Sewami here during a constituency Voters Connect program held in his constituency, Bantama, in the Ashanti region.
If you want to build a good road, you have to go through a process. In some cases, you can't even use it at all. But on the Ofanko, you are talking about Ofanko in Sawam Road.
Yes, Ofanko is about. Okay, yes, that stretch.
That road, even when they started, months ago, it was in a rather bad shape. But as a result of engagement and even talking to the drivers to obey traffic rules, it's in a much better condition now, and the contractor has advanced in terms of the progress we are expecting. In the next couple of months, we will have achieved a greater percentage of the construction, and all these inconveniences will reduce. Road construction is not something that we should worry too much about in terms of the inconvenience, but we have engaged with the contractors. In fact, in some cases, it's because of the drivers. Sometimes they don't obey traffic rules. As we speak, there is a major rehabilitation work going on the Accra-Kumasi road. Sometimes, because the drivers don't obey traffic rules, traffic regulations, then it causes unnecessary congestion. Sometimes people can stay in the traffic for about 2 hours. It's not the fault of the contractors, it's really the road users. Because this is not something that you blame government on.
Okay.
Yes, but I just want to assure it's in Accra, but a lot of people go to Accra to do business and come here. I want to take this opportunity to assure all road users and all Ghanaians that government is working very hard through the various contractors to complete all the road projects that we have started in this country.
Well, let's have a conversation on the back of this development. We've been joined on phone by the Municipal Chief Executive for GHOne West, Clement Wilkinson. Mr. Wilkinson, thank you so much for joining us. So really, what is the state of progress on the work? Because your constituents, they are really complaining bitterly about unbearable traffic congestion on the Ofankor Road.
All right. Brother. The one more Ofankor Road. It's a one more Ofankor. 100 years ago, we saw rehabilitation 2003 when His Excellency Kodjo was president. But I think what is happening right now, we have a metro road construction going on there. That is about 10 lane, 5 year. And I might say the contractor is doing his best. As we speak, right now the design has not been finished. The reason why I'm saying the design has not been finished, day in, day out, we add something to it. Because if you see that we have about 11 footbridges on the road. As we speak, we have about 15. And anytime we have a meeting, issues come out. Because we have about 7 villages, which is now towns, on that stretch. So everybody is complaining about the footbridges. Everybody is complaining about walkway. Pedestrians are looking to see where they can go through. So the road, as we are seeing right now, is better than before. Yes, I might say that. It's far better than before. The contractor is doing very well. Right now, if people are complaining, the reason why they have to complain because they took myself, the contractor, to court that we have demolished their properties and we have to delay anything at the court there. So the same people who said we are delaying. The same people have taken us to court. So, my brother, what do we do? Meanwhile, the contractor is doing his best. As you speak from in some.
Mr. Wilkinson, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Wilkinson?
I can hear you.
I'm asking that are you saying then that the delay is also partly because the issue was taken to court because the residents were agitating over the demolition of their houses?
Sure. 100. But 100 people.
Your line is not too stable. If you could just reposition so that we can have the conversation more fluidly, I would really appreciate that. So really, as it stands now, what really would be the way forward? Do we know the timelines for the construction now, since you say that the design keeps changing anytime you have a meeting?
Yes,
Well, Mr. Wilkinson, unfortunately, the line is so terrible. We'll try calling you again to continue conversation on that. That's Clement Wilkinson, and I have quite a number of questions for you because I also do use that stretch, and the gridlock becomes very unbearable. But let's talk about teacher trainees because they have denied the 100% increment from 400 cities to 800 cities, as it is accusing the Education Ministry of deliberately ignoring their needs. Now, you'll hear from another group who are also demanding immediate resolution of over 7 months unpaid salaries and arrears owed them. And so what we do know now is that the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana, they have vehemently denied reports that trainee allowances have actually been increased from 400 cities to 800 cities. Now, while the association has described the viral communique as misleading and fake, they want the government to immediately settle all outstanding arrears owed to all the 46 colleges of education. So in a statement that was issued in July, they submitted a proposal for an increment of the teacher trainees allowances, and but unfortunately what we're being told currently is that the Ministry of Education has not acted on this. And so that's the challenge now with the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana. They say, well, the allowances have not been increased, contrary to claims that have been made in the media space that it has been increased by 100% to 800 Ghana cities. So let's get on Zoom now and speak to the president of the Teacher Trainees Association, Razak Swale. So Razak, thank you so much for joining us. So you say that you've not received any form of increment in your allowances. Is that the case?
Yes, good evening, and good evening to all your lovely viewers out there, and good evening to all students at Kodjo. Yeah, it is true and true that it is a false information that people are spreading out there by saying that the allowance has been increased from 400 Ghana cedis to 800 Ghana cedis. It is actually not true. I think what caused this in the internet has to do with our resolution we passed at the 28th General Assembly we held at Tamale College of Education. That was from the 1st of November to 4th of November, where we had to inform all our delegates and all our student body about the decisions we have taken, as in to curb some of the other problems that are facing the colleges, infrastructure deficit, result delay in results, and then most especially even have to do with their allowances. So after the resolution, we have to issue this communication, and then I think it was misconstrued, and or for some reason I don't know if the ministry has intention of increasing the allowance. For that I can't best tell. But from where we sit at an association, as of today, we have not received any formal notice or any intention from the ministry as to them increasing the allowances from 800 Ghana cedis to 400 Ghana cedis to 800 Ghana cedis.
Interesting. So this was completely misconstrued. But talk to me about the arrears owed your members. Where are we with that?
Yes, with regards to arrears that are currently being owed to all students within the college space, we currently being owed about 4 months of arrears that have actually not been paid. That's for the semester that just ended, the 2023-2024 academic semester that ended somewhere in October 11. The arrears have not been paid. Even the feeding component to help the principals to be able to feed students in these colleges have actually not been paid to. You bear with me where we have reached as a country, the economic hardship increased to that percentage, and then this little money that comes to be able to help students to sustain life in in the colleges, and this is not actually also coming. The food is in a very deplorable state because the feeding component or the allowances that comes to be used for such purposes doesn't come timely. By the time it comes, the price of food items have probably gone high. Things are going out of hand. Right now, what we are faced with is that the allowances, which a part of it has always been taken for feeding, has equally increased, making the student take home reduced drastically, like 133 Ghana cedis. And even with that, it doesn't even come on time.
And Razak, talk to me. Have you made frantic efforts to get reactions to why the delay in the release of these funds, and what have you been told?
Yes, we've taken some steps, and we are currently even still taking some steps to ensure that the delay doesn't keep happening. We've recently engaged with the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. Even we've gone to meet with other stakeholders to ensure that the payment is actually done expedited. But where we have a problem is even with this increase, and then the arrears that are being owed for the 4 months, we actually saying that it should be even be paid on time, because you can't say you are paying 400 cedis of allowances that have not actually been paid, and then you now come and say it's going to be increased. I mean, we are even still struggling with this one, and we hope that the government will uphold her commitment into fulfilling.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So while the trainee teachers are asking about allowances that have not been paid, now a group calling itself Coalition of Unpaid Teachers and Arrears Ghana is also demanding immediate resolution of over 7-month unpaid salaries and arrears owed them. So let's speak to Secretary of the group, Nana Yeboah. Nana, thank you so much for joining us. So really, what kind of teachers are you? Talk to me about your membership.
I am Nanaya, and then we are Coalition of Unpaid Teacher Salaries and Arrears Ghana.
Okay.
We were recruited last year by the Ghana Education Service.
Okay.
So we are professional teachers who have gone through the various tertiary education, and then we are also done writing our licential exam. So we are professional teachers who are working for the government.
And you say for the past 7 months you've not been paid anything in terms of what you are owed?
Yes, others even being owed 16 months and 17 months.
Right. And what have you heard as to why this has not happened?
We have asked a lot of questions, but then the various authorities have decided not to respond to our issue.
No.
We have written a petition to the Director General, we sent a copy to the Minister for Education, the Finance Ministry, and then Controller and Accountant General, demanding for the immediate payment of our arrears. And then some of our colleagues have even worked for about 15 and 16 months without staff IDs. And then they have decided not to respond to our issues. So in the petition, we stated that by 18th, if they don't respond to our issue, we are also going to advise ourselves. So for now, as a group, the decision that we have taken is that since the government decided not to respect us and then even respond to our messages, we are also going to vote against the government with anger.
Okay, you are going to vote against government because you've not been paid arrears?
Yes.
Okay.
And they decided not to respect us by even responding to our petition.
Okay. Very well. Nana, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll have further conversations in the coming days to look at how really this issue can be handled. That's Nana Yeboah there. And from that, let's do business. Ghana Telecommunications Chambers issued a stern warning to the public not to pay any illegal charges during mobile money transaction. It follows reports that some mobile money agents demand extra charges from customers during mobile money transactions. Here's a report by my colleague Clara Yaira Aboga.
Despite consistent reminders by mobile money operators for customers not to pay extra charges to agents, the phenomenon seems to linger as some agents insist on extra charges before carrying out transactions for customers. Sanos shares his experience.
The person asked him to pay another money before he can do the transaction for him. So through that, even though when we were asking her, and the person says that for that place they don't do Momo transfer as like cash out, so that's where they get their money and those things. So they put the interest on the cash out instead of the sending money. So that's the experience I've had before, not myself but a friend of mine.
For some mobile money agents, they have no option than to demand more since the percentage they receive from the network operators is insufficient.
Some of my colleagues, they do charge for extra fee, especially when the person is withdrawing more than 3K. They do charge because that 3K MTN will charge 20 cedis, and the amount the commission MTN will give to the agent is less than 5 cedis, so they have to charge. When some do complain that where they are coming from is far, so if you don't do that, you will not get a transport.
Others disagree as they maintain their colleagues do so out of greed.
For me, I can say they are cheating because it's not right for you, a vendor, to do cash out and take another charge from the customer again. Because actually, if you do cash out, you get commission, so you don't have any right to charge the customer for another payment again.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Engineer Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, warns the public not to pay any illegal charges to any mobile money agents, adding that such instances should be reported immediately.
These agents have been told, and there are a lot of agents who are law-abiding, who go according to the rules. So when you meet any of these ones who decide that they are going to do the wrong charges, please do not pay those charges. Look for an alternative. Better still, report them. And so what happens is that a lot of them who do this are blacklisted, but then some of them keep on doing that, ripping off customers and consumers, and that is not acceptable. Nobody can say because I am not paid well, I should do the wrong thing, I should do the illegal thing.
With 59.7% of the population aged 15 years and older with a mobile money account in Ghana, stakeholders are encouraging users to be on high alert to avoid incidents of fraud and extortion.
Now, the Ghana Statistical Service is urging metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies, as well as the private sector, to submit their minimum statistical data to allow for a harmonized data system to enhance policy formulation. The call was made by the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobna Enim, at the climax of the 2024 African Statistical Day celebration on the theme Supporting Education by Modernizing the Production of Fit-for-Purpose Statistics.
The International Labour Organization, in partnership with the Ministry of Employment, Labour Relations and Pension, and other stakeholders, are piloting the Job Agri initiative. Over the next 20 years, the country's labour force is expected to grow by about 10.2 million, which represents an increase of 54%. Speaking at the launch of the initiative here in Accra, Country Director of the International Labour Organization, Vanessa Fala, said the move will inspire future interventions and help the government create decent jobs in the agricultural sector.
For us, this is a very, a multi-stakeholder oriented intervention. And as I said, this is a pilot. So we really need to make sure that we do the right work so that we achieve the objectives of this project, so that that it can inspire and inform future interventions in other jurisdictions. The target is to make sure that we really understand the dynamics of the agricultural sector. There are various value chains that are part of this intervention, and therefore this will enable us to understand the working conditions in those value chains, as well as the different income levels and the remuneration in those value chains. As you know, the decent work agenda forms part of the core of the mandate of the International Labour Organization.
Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, GHOne, urged the government to harness potential in the sector, especially in rural areas.
As the voice of Ghanaian workers, the Trades Union Congress is committed to supporting the Job Agri initiative. Our priorities include, but not limited to, the following: empowering workers in the agri-food sector, especially those in the rural areas. The TUC and its affiliates, particularly the General Agriculture Workers Union, which is the most vibrant union in organizing the workers within the agriculture sector, stands ready to engage with the government, employers, and our development partners to realize the full potential of this program.
On his part, Chief Director of the Ministry of Employment, Labour Relations and Pensions, Kizito Balance, bemoaned low participation of young people in the agri sector. He touted how the government's flagship Planting for Food and Jobs and the Roaring for Food and Jobs have helped reduce unemployment in the country.
This strategy reflects a defining feature of the Job Agri project, which is the establishment of an advisory committee, multi-stakeholder forum, provision of guidance and expert advice in the implementation of the project.
Ghana concluded the abysmal 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying campaign this evening with a 2-1 loss to Niger at the Accra Sports Stadium. Now, the defeat cemented the Black Stars' position at the bottom of Group F, marking a historic low in Ghana's football history as they failed to secure a single win in the 6-match series. Head coach Otuado made several changes to their lineup, offering debuts to Isaac Afo, Nathaniel Ajay and Terry Yegbe. Niger opened the scoring in the 22nd minute with TP Mazembe midfielder Husseini Badamasi capitalized on a corner kick to head the ball into the net. Well, so on that sad note, we wrap up the bulletin right here on GH1 Television. There's more news for you at starfm.com.gh. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Do have a lovely evening.